Project could move to November, right?
Yep, so this meeting could be short.
And then Andre called me yesterday and said that they are coming.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, that's me.
There we are. Hi, Hunter. So good to know that you can see every little thing, even when we're doing the YouTube.
I can, but YouTube can't while you're setting it up. So that's
No, I understand.
So glad I uploaded. I don't know if. Oh, the internet password.
Have pencils with their. Okay, so we do have quorum, though we're missing two, and I know that Chris is planning to attend in person, and I'm just presuming Michael is attending since technically he's supposed to be chairing this meeting. But no. So let's wait a couple minutes, I guess. Hi, Caesar.
Hi. How's everybody?
Hi, thank you.
Doing well. Hi, Caesar.
Hello.
So even though we haven't started the meeting, we obviously have started the recording, just heads up.
Sounds good. Quick question for the impact letter for the
Yeah, I had multiple medical encounters last week, so I'm just coming up for air.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, you don't have to apologize, but I mean, it's me, not you. But I just wasn't able to squeeze in UNNC business.
Right.
Because I have a job. So
Yeah.
the fact that I was not at the job multiple times.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, just take your time, recover.
No, a medical encounter. I had appointments.
Oh,
I just happened to have stacked a bunch of different unrelated
yeah.
appointments.
Yeah.
I'm joining on Zoom so I could do the presentation.
Oh, I could have just walked over here.
Oh, that's also true.
It's all right.
I've been in Zoom mode all day.
Okay, if you want to join on Zoom, just make sure your sound is off.
I did. I turned it all the way down.
And if you're more comfortable on your own computer, that's just fine. And then you have to join the meeting. Okay. Or you can move over here and just do it.
Means I have to pull up. Is it the
Yeah,
PowerPoint or the
yeah.
PDF?
I have both.
Okay.
I think we have to start with just the letter. To say here it is, but I haven't, you know,
I can share the screen. You can.
so it's not a problem. So, okay, I'm not going to hold the start for more than one more minute. Anybody actually have Michael's phone number memorized?
Looks like Siobhan and Chris are coming.
Okay, so they're in, but Hunter, I sent you the updated roster.
I can message him. Yeah.
Yeah, can you just call or text Michael and find out if he's coming, please? So get to something. Hello. Hello.
I can't say that.
Hey.
Oh, hey,
True that. True that.
I surely can go.
All right. So I think we're going to Michael, but we're not going to wait any longer.
Do we have quorum?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, what a good thing.
But technically Michael's supposed to chair the meeting.
Oh, what?
Oops. Whoops.
I'm messaging now.
Okay.
Have we texted him to see how far we might be?
Hunter.
That's fine.
That's all right. You don't have to be in here now. but I think we could just get started. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's just executive, so let's start. So for those watching perhaps on YouTube, welcome to UNNC's executive committee meeting. It's a meeting of the officers, but it's of course open to the public. My name is Laura Myers, and I will share the agenda. I hope. So let me know if you're online, if you can see the screen.
Yep.
I think there's someone in the living room. Sandra. Oh, sorry.
So I'm Laura Myers. I'm the president of UNNC. I'm sharing the agenda and we'll just go through it very quickly and then do the things. So the item 1 is welcome, call to order, review of the agenda, and then the roll call. And item 2 is general public comments, announcements. These are items that are not on the agenda. Anything that's actually on the agenda, we do not have in general public comments. Number 3 is executive committee business, including updates. We have a treasurer's report. We will be doing a discussion of, well, more than a discussion, we'll be making a recommendation to the governing board about how to adjust the budget to reflect our new rollover amount. We have, for me, a couple of items, including very brief discussion about vacancies on the board. If Michael comes, he'll mention the board member training updates, but we have the training updates and the secretary's report. Funding request item 4A is tabled until the October executive meeting and November board meeting. Item 4B is, we will be discussing that tonight. Item 5 is, as I think everyone here knows, we have 3 upcoming events, seemingly all on October 18th, although the LA Festival is a 4-day event. So I'm not sure if our day there is the same day or not. I've reached out to find out. So item 6, along with the vacancies on the board, you see I have it twice. We have unfilled committee chairs. We just need to talk about how to have engage more of our board members in doing more functions. And then item 7 is approve agenda items for the August 2025 governing board meeting, and also the timing on that. Oh, it's not August. So that's an error for the October meeting, but we also need to discuss if we're actually having it on that particular day, since it turns out to be Yom Kippur. And so we've just shared the agenda. We have not done the roll call. As you settle in, do you want to go choose?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to stop the share. All 5 officers are present. We don't really need to do a roll call except for our friend, the AI tape recorder. So Hunter Reese, say present.
Present.
Is present. Laura Myers is present. Chris Carlson is present. Michael
Is present as well?
Soderstrom is present, and Candace Jackson is present. So we've moved to item 2.
All right, general public comments or announcements. Does anyone have any public comments or announcements? Laura?
Well, we've probably all been seeing multiple emails regarding that SB 79 passed and is sitting on the governor's desk. And he has not yet signed it. He has not yet said if he will or won't sign it. And there's obviously at this point emailing campaigns from both sides. And those and phone calls to convince him to sign it and to convince him not to sign it. But in the meantime. Believe we admitted everybody I need to. In the meantime, there was a city council motion today. Regarding how to respond to it, including potentially to determine whether or not to sue. So,
Can you remind us what's
SB 79?
Well, it's 9 stories along transportation.
Not that, yeah, that's not what exactly it is.
It's
And what it
built-in
is,
permit.
it essentially eliminates whatever the existing zoning is around high transportation.
High density transit corridors.
Yeah, well, it's not high density transit corridors. It's about, Caesar could probably give me a better phrase, but it's about transit centers that have a huge amount of transit going.
Yeah, public transit, like train stops, busy bus stations, things like that.
Right. And I'm
Yeah,
not even
but
sure.
it's not all,
Not all of
just to
them.
be clear, is not all buses or
Right.
bus stops is like big ones, like actual, like it has to have consistency within like 15-minute time frames. I can
Right,
check
but it's
that.
also, they have to be identified as high volume transit.
Exactly.
So more than just the 15 minutes, it would be like the Vermont high rapid transit route, which is in lieu of doing another train, they're doing a rapid high volume
Do they have
bus.
a map of what falls into this category? So
Well, they
people-
do not, and
Yes,
it's
I
not.
have a map. I have a map.
They do, well, Caesar, if somebody establishes a new high volume bus rapid route. That's not allowed, right? I mean, it's ones like
That's,
this,
I believe so, like in the future.
right?
But I'm not sure if that got amended or not. I haven't read the latest.
Yeah, there were a lot of amendments. Essentially, it changes the zoning where trains have stops and some bus stops. And it has a half mile and 1 mile, no, quarter mile and a half mile
Right.
increments. And maybe yes to 9 stories, maybe not.
If you want to click on the link, you can see sort of like the impacted areas, which is
Yeah, well, we're gonna be talking about this tomorrow night. I only
Oh.
wanted to bring it tonight, but it's on the agenda for planning and zoning tomorrow night, so the update and follow-up. So this is general public comment, so we shouldn't spend yik-yakking about it. But the thing is, it undoes some of LA's planning. Or zoning, I should say. So, right, and it has other impacts, blah, blah, blah. Any other, my brief comment got too long.
All right. Excellent. Are there any others? Aggressive again, since I can't see. We're doing the same time. All right. So then moving on to executive committee business. Treasurer's report.
So I need to make you a co-host.
Yes. And I did it just because it was easier to my computer.
Sure, it's all right. So if you don't mind, if you can show first the letter we got, so you don't send me. Or if you cannot, I should, yes.
Okay,
You want me to?
you can show the letter
Cool.
and then, because then I'll have.
Right. But you can start talking.
Okay, so. I too must remove glasses because far away I can still see. So we got this letter, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. That finally has in writing that all of the money we did not spend from last year rolled over. So our total amount that we spent last year in all categories was $27,545.35. So we had a rollover of $14,103.69, which was about what we estimated. Some of that came from MPGs that they were tripping about at the last minute and other things, but we are actually really glad that the money got a chance to roll over because of the budget cuts. This kind of restores us rough around where we were last year. So we kind of have a pre-budget cut budget once we allocate them. So,
Okay, so I will stop this share.
so yay, excited that it's in writing. And so now. Technology, all right. My share,
I did make you into a share. You should be showing us four hosts.
one participant.
Yeah, if you're CJ Jackson, which you are,
That is me.
you are a co-host. But again, if you're having trouble, I can share.
Ooh, cause I wanted my gifts to.
But,
Um,
yeah, I can't do that for you.
I know,
But-
let me see, so I'm not.
You should have a button that says share.
Yeah, I do, but it's not.
Ah.
It's, my computer has been acting temperamental today, should have. But I don't wanna go to. Alright, You can pull it up.
Share this. Poor- I'm sorry.
I put little. Moving gifts and everything.
Well, sorry about that, but you know. That's laid plans, right?
Okay, so that's actually someone counting money, right? But yeah, so I just put this together real quick so we can all see the thoughts on the money and, oh, scroll up. I put it in there as a PDF, right? So essentially, our base budget this year was cut down to $25,000, so that's what we based our admin packet on. So up until this point, we've been doing MPG's outreach, office spending, et cetera, from our base budget in the admin packet based on $25,000, right? So now that the city has confirmed that we really do get all of our money for the rollover amount, we have to talk about as a committee to recommend to the general board how to split up this money so that the city would allow us to spend the money in the other space. So we can't spend the money before we approve it and then I adjust. So the total, sorry.
I'm sorry, you wanna go back up there?
One more thing, so the total budget amount, when you add the $25,000 that we based that admin packet on with the $14,103.69. The total amount is $39,103.69, so very close to what we had last year. I think last year we had like 41. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just moving everybody around.
Gotcha.
So I can. move that.
So this is just kind of a current breakdown of what we have spent.
Not spent.
Well, not spent, but
Proposed.
yes, proposed, right? So this is,
Well,
this is from our admin packet current. Right, so we have $21,110, and that is the general operational fund. And in the general fund, you have the office budget that we pay the bills, post office box, storage, et cetera, from website. So yeah, so there's office and just kind of recurring expenses, that's that part of the budget. Then outreach also falls under this general operational space. And then there's the election budget, which we are not in an election, so that's 60. So all of this comes together for that total amount of $21,010. Then the next space where we have money, or the big categories, so like when I go on the website, they're kind of like, these are the big three categories. What are you all spending in those three categories? For MPGs, our current allocation is $3,890. And then community improvement projects, we put 0 because we didn't know what
If you don't like,
yeah,
they're too hard to do.
well, so we talked about it as a
They're
community.
just too hard to do. Bad state to our community. I'm sorry, Chris,
do
it's
the
also
work,
truthful.
But we can do the work to support our community. That's what we're here for.
So I will say this, if we are having conversations about where to put the money, like this is the point.
Well, it is, but it's also what we've learned is it's so much easier to give an NPG for a community improvement project than to do a community improvement project, because they no longer allow third-party vendor payments. They no longer allow allowing something to carry over from year to year. I mean, in the past, we could do a project, a community improvement project that might take 3 years to get the permitting on. No longer can do that. I mean, it's just really very
It's
difficult.
gotten challenging and we should rise to the challenge.
But we also have no proposals. But, and if we had an actual proposal, because I'm agreeing with Candace here. If somebody came in with an actual proposal, we can always change our budget allocations.
Okay.
But in terms of, but setting it aside to there, and then we go the whole year without a proposal, it's
Let me
really
ask
hard
a
to
question.
spend it at the last minute.
Do NPGs require applicants to be
Yes.
nonprofits? So
Or to have a, what is it called, fiscal sponsor,
fiscal sponsor, okay, because if
which
we
would be, which would itself be a 501c3.
Okay, because I think it's important to recognize a significant number of our community have investments to try to improve the community, and they do not have the umbrella.
You have a proposal for us?
I will bring a proposal. I'm bringing a proposal because Western Heights is coming back with its tree proposal. But because that money got rolled over and we've spent months and
That money
hundreds of
did not-
hours.
That
trying
money,
to-
I'm sorry, Chris, I know I'm interrupting.
Yes,
The
you are.
money was not rolled over. The
Are we
money
talking about for the
from a
tree?
couple of years
trees.
ago was not rolled over. It
They're
was
coming back in
gone.
the door. I mean.
No, I understand, but
But
there's
that
no
neighborhood is
rollover
coming
money
back
for
in
it.
the door. And
Mhm.
they are not under a nonprofit umbrella,
Mhm.
but I think if we're going to look at our community as a whole, the vast majority of projects are not necessarily going to be established 501c3s. And I think we have to make sure that we have a balanced way of addressing the needs of our community without preferentially taking the easy route, because it's administratively more easy
And what
to administer.
what did I say about 2.5
And I
minutes
said,
ago?
people will bring in, but we
I
have
also
to,
said we can readjust the budget.
Right,
Should there be a project we
but
want
we
to
have
approve.
to be. I'll use a language
so let me
that's
ask you,
open and
what-
encouraging, not discouraging. And
Okay, so
what I was hearing was quite discouraging.
I understand.
I'll just say this. When the last executive board talked about the admin packet,
Right.
everyone agreed that to put the money more so in MPGs
Correct.
than in.
The entire board agreed.
So, with that said, if there is an amount that you know for sure that they're coming for in the space.
We
then
can't
I'm not cherry picking. I'm just saying, as an organization, we have to make sure we are responsive to the community as a whole, not just what's aligned to the easiest avenue, because a lot of our community doesn't fall in that aligned group. And I'm just saying, we need to be responsive and be proactive to let people know that we encourage A and B, and if it comes in the door, we'll do our best to respond to A and B.
Okay.
Because the city actually has a method for establishing A and B.
Chris, you do know that we haven't had, and with the exception of Western Heights, and it, as you know, we had to undo it and change it to something else.
Someone undid it and changed it. yes.
Well, not someone, the city clerk.
The city, but not the community, let's be
No,
clear,
but
not the
the
community.
only community improvement project request that has come in 6 years, maybe longer, is your trees at Western Heights. So it's not that we are foreclosing other communities who are requesting but not able.
And if we don't make it user friendly, we probably can anticipate we'll have a low entrance rate for, if we go, oh, well, there's A, but B, we don't really like that, and C doesn't like it, you won't see B.
So
I'm
I'll
just saying,
So here's here's,
okay,
right now, we have an amount. This is a suggested.
Well,
way-
first of all, this is the amount we approved.
Well, this is what, yeah,
Yeah,
this
We
is
already
already,
approved it as a
this
zero.
is currently what it is now.
Right.
So the
Approved as
whole
a
point,
zero.
right, the whole point of the discussion would be, yeah, Candace, I like the way you do that, or maybe we need more here, or a little more there. So if we really feel passionate about not closing the door on the community in that way, then when we get to the next part, you can say, well, you know what, I want to take some of this and allocate it over here because we have to allocate the whole 14,000 and recommend that to. Okay, so if we think it's fair to add someone to the pot, this would be the point.
I agree, however, and I feel passionate.
I hear you do, but wear your officer hat and not your Western Heights hat.
I'm wearing my area 4 hat, it's not.
No, you should not be. You
Well,
tie your-
I'll just say,
I think I should wear both.
if we are, again, if we are making this decision as a committee, this is a new committee. The new committee may have a new point of view. If at some point we don't get any community improvement projects like has been the case, then we can just move it to
Right,
MPGs. And
however, how easy or hard is that you have to re-upload it?
it's
Easy?
Doable.
I mean, it's a lot, but you know, if I work at the service of the board, then that's what.
So
Well,
I think that one, most people don't have any insight into what the difference between these two things are, and they'll
Yeah.
come and ask for it, and then we can navigate it around. And at that time, we'll be allocating funds from one bucket to another, and we're talking about dynamic, we've done that.
Yeah.
Like in the past without too much difficulty. So, given the fact that we're unlikely to see a CIP.
Mhm.
Just based upon the past history. I would leave it as is right now because that requires no action from our part, right? Rather than taking an action and then having to roll back the action, knowing that the action you take to move it is not very difficult.
right. And Chris, I would recommend after you take your officers funding training, after you do that, they do offer 2-hour workshops on community improvement projects, how to use them.
Yep.
So you could take that class as well, but it won't count for your officer training.
I understand that.
Because, you know, if you have insight after that, it will make it a whole lot easier to do a community improvement
I'm
project.
all for doing that, because I think to service our community, we have to be open to both pathways.
All right,
And I do feel passionate about it.
well, you clearly do,
I do.
but I'm just saying we got stopped halfway through on yours and on the one you're talking about, and it just feels like it might be easier to
Go through.
exactly with a tree planting organization that is a 501c3 and you get your trees that
We're
way.
working on.
Yeah,
People in the
that'd
community
be
are working on
ever
it.
so much easier.
They're
'cause
working
it's
on
just a check. Give it to them.
Okay.
They're on the trees and we're working on the water.
Right, okay.
Yes, okay,
Next.
interruption, but,
Okay, so this is where we currently are.
okay.
Yes.
Where do you-
So now,
Wait a minute,
okay.
how did this all, it's moving on its own.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going back as,
Yeah, so that's where we are. So the next slide is kind of breaking down what we did. So I could just explain. Since we give both to MPGs, because that's the category we have, that's the next slide, so I know you can't see it. So basically, I allocated most of that money to MPGs. And then this is the remainder after the 9,000 went to the MPGs. And so this is the total split between office expenditures that'll give us a little bit of a cushion for price increases and those types of things. So it brings our total to $18,161.50. And then adding to the outreach category, which we have done some things, so that's like space for tabling, like how we did at the Jazz Festival, or co-sponsoring an event like we are with the tree giveaway. That's this category of money, so that brings it up from like 5,500 to 8,000. So that gives us more money in the outreach category. Then next slide. And then, I put the bulk of the money, the $9,000 to MPGs, which brings us up from like 3,800 to 12,800. And just thinking about the requests that we get for like our average request is $2,000 to $3,000 for, sometimes we do less, sometimes we do a little more. So this should give us a space to really do several MPGs to help organizations out. So this was my thought. I did not allot any of the money to the community improvement project, because again, as a board before, we kind of talked about it, and that wasn't, well, we talked about it, and that wasn't the request that we were getting. So this is what, next slide. So this is where I have so many questions, and it does a little fun dance, but promising it does a little fun dance.
So Hunter has a question, and Hunter does have a question.
So if there are questions,
Should I turn this off?
you
Share. I can reshare later. Ugh. Okay.
Okay.
Who's calling on a question?
Oh, yeah, Hunter, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I I appreciate it, Candace. This is all great, and this is all something that I would never want to do. If the extra 2,000 and change for the office is just like for a cushion, I would maybe advocate for taking 1,000 of that and putting 10,000 towards the NPGs, or taking that 1,000 and putting it towards the neighborhood improvement plans, if that's what we want to do. I feel like things shouldn't be increasing in price by that much. And I know a lot of people on the board have been saying, we have a lot of internal things that we're paying for, where some of this money should be going out more to the community. And if we have enough to cover everything that we think with that $5,000, I don't know if we need another 2,000 and change in the office stuff.
Well, Hunter, this is Laura speaking. Let me ask you, you know that the Zumwinkle team took a wage cut because of the budget cuts.
Okay.
Do you still think that's okay?
Because
I mean, in other words, if we wanted to restore them to the level they were at, because I don't think their workload changes, then that would be what the money.
Well, last year was an election
it's up
year,
to
this
you,
year
but
is an election year, so their workload does change a little bit. I don't think the price decrease is right. I don't know exactly how much they aren't receiving. Maybe we can give them a bump. That would be great.
Well, they offered, I mean, in other words, this was voluntary, but it helped us a lot.
Mhm.
When we were doing
I don't know if I can't answer if that's like.
I am going to.
Right.
Well, she's gonna look it up. It was $450 a month, and now it's what?
I will give, as soon as I pull up the package, I will give you the exact amount that we said we would.
Their current rate is $450 a month.
No, last year.
Last year.
They took a reduction.
Admin.
Did we break it down enough?
Oh, we just said
Yeah, Zumwinkle.
Oh, shit. Okay, give me a second. I have a thousand documents.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know that I can find it on this computer, but it would be the scope of work.
And
document.
that's something I can look into. I don't have to figure it out all right now. I think it would.
But that's where a price increase could happen.
Do we need to give them all 20?
To take them back to where they were.
I understand that. Do we need to give them all 2,500 of that though? Of
No,
the leftover
no.
balance?
You don't need
I
to do
think-
anything. We can leave them where they are. I'm just saying.
We need to be aware of what's
Yeah.
what on the land.
Exactly,
Totally.
because you're
I just
absolutely
think
right. The
it's-
PO box is not gonna double in price.
Right.
It
I
will
just
go
think,
up.
if we have 5,500 or whatever originally set aside for internal office stuff, I don't think we need to increase that budget by 50% just in case. Hey, just in case. I think it's more worth it to put that money back into the community and give the NPGs a full $10,000. That was
Maybe we don't need it.
Oh, too late. I already found it.
Now you found it.
So we allocated. Okay, website creation, maintenance and enhancement, that's in.
Right.
7,200.
It's not completely.
Okay.
That's a combination. So it's more than $7,000, but that's a combination of all of the domain name and hosting,
That's just
Oh.
that's not her fee, her flat out fee.
it's
That's
not,
just,
it includes her fee, but it's not
Yeah, but it's
solely her
not.
fee.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll just say we're noting that because just in case we have a special project for her, I mean, I'm saying her, but the company. I think we can move on.
Okay,
I mean, Hunter's point is don't put
don't put all of it,
it back into office and maybe bring
put a little more
MPG
into
up to
MPGs.
10,000, but he said well, I guess we have 5 people who can vote. He's
I was
going to
gonna
bring some money in community improvement projects, so Michael
Do we-
and I don't want that. Hunter, oh, it's up to you, Ken, it's Hunter. I mean, you're like, I don't care.
We're not removing, like,
All of
since we're
it.
taking a vote to move something, no matter what, I kind of don't care what bucket it goes into.
Okay,
Yeah.
so put 1,000 in community improvement. 1,000 back to MPGs. What, I don't know
Wait,
what the
so,
number is.
so you don't wanna increase the office at all?
Well, Hunter,
Wait,
what
it
was,
was my suggestion, just, I think, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. I think we were adding to the office 2,500.
We were adding to the
here, I'm
office.
going
I would
back.
suggest we add 1,500, take 1,000 off of that, and then put 1,000 to make NPGs a full 10,000. Or we put the 1,000 in the neighborhood improvement plan. That's fine with me too.
Okay, so it was 2,000, okay, it was $2,500 more or less.
Yeah.
You're saying put 15 back into office?
No. Go to oh yes, that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. And just to make the neighborhood purpose grant a flat 10,000 instead of 9,000.
I see what you're saying. So move 1,000 from the office to MPGs.
And then if we have extra in the office, I'm so happy to give that to Anne. That seems fair.
Right, if we need to.
So
and
then the office amount would now be 15
Instead of-
50, 60.
Exactly, instead of 25.
Yeah, perfect.
And we all know that if a community improvement project comes in, we need money there. If we come in with a project we need, we can give her the money. I mean, in other words, we will have to allocate. None of these things can just happen. I mean, we cannot increase Anne's income without a vote. Even if we've done this, we can't.
It's a recommendation to the general board.
So not just that, I'm saying for Anne, if we've already submitted to the city this year's scope of work with her. So if we, with a contract, so to give her more money, we would have to give her a project.
I see.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And that's easy enough, but the board would have to vote. It's not an automatic. We can't just say, go do it and pay her. I mean, it would
And
have,
what, for an extra
it
$1,000?
would require a BAC, which is fine.
Okay, I don't mind increasing MPGs because that's what we do most of our giving.
Right.
So this is the same thing I'm gonna show. So if we are okay with it, I'm gonna increase the 9 to 10.
Sure.
So then I don't forget.
Thank you, Candace.
You're saying.
Yeah,
on your
on my
own
live
computer,
PowerPoint,
on your-
so
on your
that
lap- that we
won't
can't look
forget.
at, okay, that we can't see, that's fine.
So yeah, so I've now increased MPGs. Michael could be my witness here. So I've increased MPGs to 10 and I've decreased the office expenditures to $1,551.50.
What percentage of our total budget is in NPGs with that increase?
Well,
I
our
guess.
total now is 40,000, right?
Roughly,
So
yes.
25.
So
The 25%. Okay.
Roughly.
Okay. Given, I would propose, given that a sizable chunk of our annual budget is in PGs or grants to the community. You know, we have a lot of committees, but we don't have a granting committee. And I have been concerned that, we've kind of had a practice of first in, best dress without kind of clear guidelines to different, we would have people come in the door with large asks. And I think it would be potentially beneficial to our community if we set up a grant committee. And I wouldn't propose anything I wasn't willing to serve on.
Okay.
That we establish maybe 2 grant cycles over the years, so we have a entry date and we'll make a decision, so grants come in the door and we can vet them to make sure that they are all have got their applications filled out correctly, because we've had problems with that. And they understand what the maximum amount per grant we are willing to fund, because we come in with things with very inflated figures, which would drain most of our resources into 1 or 2 projects. And I don't think that's the most equitable use for our resources for the community. And I think it also gives a false feel to outside organizations that, oh, we can fund ourselves if we ask for X. And they should know that, oh, no, the maximum we can ask is this. And so we have to find other sources, because on our grants, they're supposed to generally show that they've actually got additional resources. That hasn't always been a cheap representation. And so I think, and I would
We
propose,
cannot take an action.
I'm
on
not
this
suggesting
item
action,
tonight.
but
Because it's not on the.
it's not on,
We can't-
but MVGs and money transfer is
So just, I'm sorry.
You're suggesting, and
a grant committee that we set up
hang
clear
on,
guidelines.
let me, I need to articulate.
Mhm.
You are suggesting that the board establish an appointed grant committee. Well, it can't be done our
No.
usual committee way. So where anyone who's participating in the given evening gets a vote. It would have to be more like executive. It would have to be comprised of board members. It could be comprised of no more than 6
Okay,
under the other rules. But this is all something we're gonna have to take to the board. We can't do
yeah,
that.
no, I agree with that, but I'm putting the idea out
Sure.
there because I think it's something going forward, particularly because we have maybe a retreat coming up. It's something that could be
Right,
talked about. at the
so we
retreat.
won't be able to implement that in the, if you're saying a first round and a second round, we're resting on our first round without such a committee.
Right, yeah.
We could implement it if the board wanted to.
Like in
implement
the
it.
spring.
Well, say June or February.
Yeah,
We don't wanna wait all.
Yeah.
No, you
winter.
can't wait, no, we have to, and we have to make our grantees aware of those deadlines, because we have
Correct.
problems.
But I do wanna point out that the one we have on the agenda tonight is the one that's from last year, that just.
I don't, I mean,
revisiting.
Well,
Right.
but their money came,
forward. So
I don't
the
have a
money
problem
we
with
have is for them.
but I think overall, we need a lot more outreach to our.
I hear
community.
what you're saying,
Grants.
and we,
And we need clear guidelines.
and we
can
need to not be
expedite it.
discussing an item that is not on the agenda, so
So
we're
we're
saying,
moving money around, and so the item is kind of, we're talking about NPGs and stuff, I think.
Chris, I hope you join executive committee to not just be advocating for something.
No,
like
I'm
that.
bringing my passion like you bring your passion.
Yes,
And I think I'm looking at ways that we can better serve our community as a whole.
correct,
and I
but
don't think
you
we
have to
consistently have
understand
done
that
that.
it's not, I heard what you said,
Okay, good.
we can.
If it's in the
We
record. we're
can
good.
deal with it under item 7 about
Okay,
agenda
we're good.
items, maybe for November, but I have a feeling we can't do it in October for a different
Not a
reason.
problem.
Or we can agenda that for next
Let's do
executive,
it.
but we can't be making decisions on.
I'm not asking for a
Just-
decision, I'm suggesting
Okay,
a
so-
concept.
so back
to the
back
budget.
back to the budget. All right, so
It's budget.
10,000 for MPGs, 10,069. Right, and then, so
And 1,500 round.
so I reduced.
So everything else goes to outreach.
Yeah, so I reduced, the office administrator by 1,000, so that's 1,551.50. And then the outreach amount remains the same because we shuffled that 1,000 to MPGs.
For the moment. Now, Chris, you're totally welcome at governing board to bring up moving some of the money again, but what we need tonight is a recommendation from executive to the governing board.
I'm fine with that, but because we are discussing,
But
budgets
you won't
related
be,
to grants.
but that discussion cannot include a discussion of the grant committee.
no, I just want the information to be out there that discussion is gonna come. Okay, so I think it's important.
It's
to
not a
recommend.
bad idea, many neighborhood councils do that.
Okay, so now my next question is, any other ideas? Or how
I
we're
know.
supposed to,
Oh, I
or,
thought we were gonna have a quick meeting.
yeah, or is everyone fine? I see, like, there are other folks that
Hunter,
might have a.
Hunter, you good with?
Yeah, so roughly, we're allocating 1,500 51 to the office. 2,551 to outreach. And $10,000.69 to MPG. And that's our whole $14,103.
That's our recommendation.
That, well, there it is.
Well, we need
I move to take, except what I just.
You move what you just
Yeah,
said.
yes, I move to accept.
A second.
You get to follow.
No, all in favor with a hand vote, right? All in favor? Hunter? Yeah, there. I vote unanimous.
Uh,
All right, so next.
That's all I have.
The treasurer now has.
President's free vote.
yeah, that's all I have.
I actually have a question for treasurer.
Okay.
I think we need to establish the time frame after board meetings for when the payment requests go in. But I
Okay.
noticed, I don't need the money, but you didn't put in a payment for I reimburse. So what I would like to say is, try to establish not necessarily the weekend after the board meeting, but within the 2 weekends, because I know your weekdays you can do it. If that's at all possible, and the Korea festivals.
Yes, those are all things, cause
I know what's happening with you, but I'm just, I mean, and if you can't do that.
Yeah, sure,
Just
that's
let me know,
yeah, I'll do that.
because again, I don't really need, but some other board member might.
If we need, if 2 weeks is too tight, given everything,
Just
just give
tell
the
us.
3. So people know that there's a time when they have to get it to you, and there's a
Right.
time window that it will be processed.
So
But
I mean, just
think
because
what's
you have a new
comfortable.
job, well, she's got a new job.
I know,
Yeah.
that's what I think what's comfortable.
Yes, I was thinking about this today, I don't know how this long it's gonna work, but, yes, 2 weeks is fine, because I do understand that people need their money, folks need their money for events. And so there may have to come a time, if my job becomes more, that someone else just needs to.
Right, and we might, and I don't know, are we allowed to have an assistant treasurer, meaning a second financial officer who has access to the treasurer level of, meaning in other words,
I can ask Anna,
cannot
that's
put
fine.
in a payment request
Mhm.
because my credentials only are for the credit cards.
I think they do that for continuity, as far as I understand, the only person that can submit it is the treasurer. So maybe a point where there might have to be a new treasurer, but I don't disagree that a timeline is bad, and I try to do that,
But it
I
also has to
just
be a
have to-
timeline that you can work with
Well,
without feeling.
it's gonna have to be Saturdays or Fridays,
But if
or in the.
2 weeks is too tight,
No, well, I'm saying, no, I'm respectful.
30 days.
I'm not thinking you can do it in the evening. So I'm
Right.
thinking you can do it on a weekend, but the first weekend after a board meeting, which is one day later,
Yeah.
you may not have the VOC.
I mean, I feel 2 weeks.
Okay, but I mean.
And I'm really
30
sort of
days
thinking
is
weekend.
a natural turnaround on a lot of, so if you need that.
It
be honest,
just depends though, cause sometimes
We have
depending on
urgent.
when we do it, like 30 days is kind of long. And so, yeah, so we'll try and I'll report back.
Yeah,
How
no,
well that
no,
works or not.
Right, I'm just saying, because reasonably, you're a volunteer,
Mhm.
you have a new job that's also a tough new job. So I don't wanna
We
pressure
want to
you
be
out.
respectful of what
Yeah.
you need, and we just need to give the
And
information.
again, it's.
So anybody has a
Korean
reasonable
fest-
expectation, but it's one that doesn't put you under the gun 24/7. I have to do this because, yeah. For all.
Well, so I'll say that if there is a 2 week turnaround, then that actually helps me do it faster. Cause
Okay.
then what will happen is I'll start doing my work and then I'll be like, oh shit, I'm stuck. Oh, stuff. I have to, it's like, that's why tonight it's like, oh snap, I need to do. And so then I'll just kind of do it, right? But if there's like a 2 week, I'll put a calendar reminder for me. That I need to do that, then it'll kind of make me schedule it
Right.
more.
And this is
Then I have-
contingent on the BAC is being done too.
Yeah.
Because you can't
Move
do a
on to
synthetic.
that. Pretty good in the
I know, and I think Hunter is gonna be typing them,
But if you need more cushion, build it in.
yeah.
So I don't disagree with that, that's fine.
And then, cause Caesar's gonna ask this question, I'm trying, but I missed all of last week to do the same thing with letters.
Okay.
You know, to make sure letters get produced within 2 weeks, so I flunked. Okay, so the president has, I think some of you guys have received some of these other pieces of information. I get a lot of emails from Dunn and others. So we all got an email, I think, today from the city clerk saying that they're establishing a work group for the next neighborhood council election.
So, yeah.
And they're seeking volunteers, so I'm gonna forward, even though everybody got it, I'm gonna forward that email to the entire board. Again, I don't know if anyone's passionate about getting involved with citywide kind of administration, but what we definitely know is this year's elections were worse than ever in terms of all the neighborhood councils, in terms of people who signed up as candidates, in terms of voters. So something has to change. But I, for one, don't have any spare time to jump into a working group, so. Got that. And then I wanted to know if we're interested at all in engaging about charter reform. Because
The city charter?
city charter reform. There's been interesting commentary, including and not limited to one councilman going to the commission and saying neighborhood councils need to be more respected, blah, 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 blah. And another councilman said they should be eliminated.
Yep.
So, and then one of the neighborhood councils has taken it upon themselves to propose a rewriting of the charter about neighborhood councils, and they've actually done the work to say this is what it should say now. So the question I have is, do we want to, and it cannot be the October board meeting, I don't think. Do we want to set aside some time at a board meeting? It'd have to be at least 30 minutes to talk about charter reform, because we're sort of looking at it in bits and pieces. We can ponder that till later in the agenda when we talk about the agenda items, but I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Because it's not just about charter reform for neighborhood councils. There's charter reform for how trees are handled in the city, and there's charter reform for how the planning department is administered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the only thing no one's talking about is charter reform to have more council offices, which was what was supposed to be the reason
For the
we are having
reform.
charter reform. So, but right now, nobody from UNNC can go to a charter reform commission meeting and speak on behalf of UNNC because we haven't done a community impact statement of any sort related to charter reform. So it may be that what we want to do is have an ad hoc committee on charter reform from UNNC meetings. Anyway, ponder that because it's not on tonight's agenda other than president's report. And we can talk about, should it be an agenda item under item 7? Okay.
On to me. So the Dunn report,
I will have it to show if you would like.
I had it too. Is it in this tab? No, so many tabs.
I have it to actually share.
There you go. Oh, it's great. You want to
Yeah.
show? I think there's 2 people who are in the red in the funding training, and that is Paula and Edward. This was my first time seeing this view. So was Edward? I thought there was some work he had.
He has not done his funding training.
Ed Saunders?
Yes.
And
And there are 2 people who ethics explorations.
Okay. So-
Last I tried to log in, I was unable to. That's
Problems.
Okay, I'm having trouble sharing even though I have it up. Okay, I'm just gonna share. Did you guys, can you guys see that? No, we can see it because I've got it on the computer. On the Zoom screen, can you see the board members training grid?
Yeah.
Okay. So. I did some color highlights.
Great.
Can you read them?
Well, there's orange up there on the top, and 5 down.
Orange is the person who just joined, correct?
Well, no, orange is Christina, who did not end up coming to our board meeting. Did anyone notice her on Zoom? But she did take the code of conduct.
Okay.
She was in Europe because she had come to a bunch of our activities during the spring and then disappeared. She was in Europe and her mother died. And she's just been dealing with that and just got back to LA like the beginning of September, right before Labor Day weekend. So she had said she would come to the board meeting, which she obviously did not, but she did do the code of conduct, and I haven't heard anything. But I think it's her intention of actually joining the board.
Can we send her an email to just confirm she'll be at the October meeting? Just, and her interest, given everything that's happened, is still to move forward.
Right, because she had been ghosting
Yeah.
Dunn along with us.
That's,
Well, but now we know
but
why.
yeah,
Now we
no,
know why.
it's-
She wasn't here.
yeah, and it's a
She
big
just wasn't
deal
here.
raising a family.
So, Michael, can you read the rest, see the rest of this?
Yeah, so the one you've highlighted, the blue is for Hunter, or the
Well,
green.
Because he's gonna expire. Do you know that, Hunter, that you're going
November,
to?
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
I don't get these. I'm not concerned about mine. Thank you, though.
Next is Paula and Edward.
Yeah. Chris, you are, yes, that's right. So you already said that.
Yeah, and then I
You tried.
tried, last time I logged in, there was.
I tried,
training
not
to
getting
be- Yeah.
Okay, so Alfonso is back
Okay.
from his leave as of yesterday. So I will reach out to him and just say, you know, it's not available.
It's not working.
I understand, it's not available. I went in with Michael last month, you know, on his computer, and he's like, look, and it's like not available to do. And I did tell Mary Lou, but
I could get some points for taking like an hour worth of the LA City.
Oh,
okay.
put it in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And Hunter, I know we don't have any minutes from anything.
Oh, yeah, nothing crazy for me. I set up a new email account for the new board member, Rabaya, and that should be on the website soon as well. But that's really it.
Okay, so for these executive committee meetings, do you think we should be relying on the AI transcript, or are you gonna kind of do some minutes from the transcript, or are you taking minutes now? I mean, how do you want to handle executive? Governing, we have to have real minutes.
I will do governing board real minutes, and I will start doing real minutes for these next one. I didn't realize I was supposed to do that, but I'll take them off of the transcript this time. But next time I'll just do them from scratch from the beginning.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, especially for executive blow by blow. Executive should be action items.
Only action items?
For executive, I would think so.
Oh, okay, then yeah, that's fine.
I mean, you know,
We only
Well,
have
right.
that one action item for the budget so far, so I can just write that up now and
right, no, I mean, yeah, because we have the transcript. I mean, it's not like,
No record.
well, it's not just that, like, it's no record, but it's not like people don't know we have transcripts. So what I'm learning now, also even from our governing board meetings, is the city clerk has learned, as has the city attorney, to ask for the transcripts. They're not as interested in minutes at all anymore. They
Oh,
want to
really?
see, they want to see what was on the agenda. They want to see the BAC, and they may want to see the transcript.
Okay.
So we need to make our motions carefully when
We put them down.
well, no,
Why
I
are they
mean,
reading all of that? They have the time and the energy to read all of those? That's
no. They want the excerpt, meaning we had a little issue that we're gonna try and resolve, but they wanted to know did the agenda item say it correctly? It did. The BAC was wrong, we're fixing it. And then I went back to the transcript and I basically said, I'm looking at, I looked at the transcript, I'm the person who made the motion. The motion I made referred to the agenda item on the agenda. It said per the agenda, that was my motion, comma, I move. And they want to just make sure we're doing that. And it solved the problem, luckily, but we just, because they now know we have it, they're very interested in it. Am I saying that right? Not just us. I mean, that's what Zoom is doing now. They're transcribing. So this was probably the third or fourth time I received a communication from either the clerk or the city attorney wanting to know what we had done. Do I have a transcript? So I can excerpt it and give it to them.
Right, I'll make sure to have the minutes and the transcript
Yeah.
ready just in case.
Okay.
Just have to be consistent.
Right. Okay, Candace?
She stepped away.
Yes, you did.
Do we move on to the next item or?
Yes, Candace. It's a funding request.
Ah.
So we're skipping, 4A is not gonna be here tonight. You missed that.
Go.
This table.
Okay, great.
So we're on 4B.
All right.
And we do have Andre and Torrance here. But we don't have Candace here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think she's well aware of what's
right.
going on here.
so Andre and or Torrance, hi.
Sure. Hi, Laura. Hello, everyone. You've all seen us before, and hi, Candace, and everyone else here. And I see Tori's on board. I just want to say this has been very enlightening and eye-opening to see how you guys are working with this budget, and how well you work with it. I applaud you guys for working with so little and doing so much with it. We're here to discuss phase 3 of our ongoing, and hopefully this is the final stage, phase rather, of the Malcolm X Corridor project, where we're placing signs along a 5-mile corridor, a 5-mile corridor. Oh, there we are. Yes, a 5-mile corridor.
So this is the addenda, but this is your addenda, but it says it repeats it, right, from the MPG?
Yes.
And expands on it.
Yes. I did not see the agenda actually. So I'm looking at this. This is the answer to question 4, purpose and intent. But before I go into that, I'd like Tori, who's on board here, to say a few words. He's the president and CEO, director CEO of the family organization, to sort of lay some groundwork before I go into the details. Tori, are you there?
He is.
I am. Can you hear me?
Torrance.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, I think
can
they can hear
now.
me fine.
Huh?
Okay, thank you. I want to say hello to everyone.
Yes.
I want to thank you for your past commitment to assisting us as we continue our 33-year mission to preserve and promote and protect the legacy of Minister Malcolm X, a man who, when I read a book about his life at the age of 12, helped to guide me and to keep me out of prison. I've never been to prison. I've never been drunk in my life. I've never smoked any weed or anything like that. And you guys might say I'm pretty too straight. Y'all might say I'm too straight. But that's been my life, and my life has been dedicated to the youth in our community. The youth have been involved at every level and every aspect of what we've been doing with the Malcolm X Legacy Project. So thank you for your past commitment and your assistance. I want you to know that we are going to be working with the Crenshaw House, which is just north of Venice on Crenshaw, to do some activities there with our youth, and also to do our film festival. So I want to give you the date of December the 13th. We would love for you guys to be there, to be present for the opening press conference, and then to be there for some of the film screenings we're going to do, the receptions we're going to do. And we hope that at that time, maybe that's time enough to have another sign placed there, or to at least have a date for the next signs that will go up and the rest of the project that we've been talking about. We want you to know that we've crafted a plan for a $25 million endowment project that is for the entire community to benefit from, the youth. I'm a United States Air Force veteran, so we work with veterans in the community. We also will be entering the prisons to work with people who are incarcerated to help them to traverse from the incarcerated state back out into the communities. We also do an annual tour to New Orleans where we do a cross-cultural, beautiful cross-cultural thing. And Sangha, you went 1 year, I think about 3-4 years ago. We think
Yes.
New Orleans is very important, not only because I'm from there, that's where jazz music started. And as a professional recording artist and performing artist, music is really also integrated in a lot of what we do. So we're working on something called a Save the Youth, Save the World concert, modeled after a concert in 1972 in Illinois that will bring together some of the top recording artists in the nation. And so we want to do big things. This Malcolm X thing is a big thing to us because it's the only one that we know of on the West Coast of this magnitude. So we're right there with New York and Chicago and all those other cities now with that project. So thank you again. I'm going to close my mouth, sit back and listen. And if there's any questions, I hope to be able to answer them. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Peace.
Thank you. I realize we have people who don't have the background, so I'm just going to jump in.
Yeah.
UNNC has been working with this organization since 2021, I think.
Yeah, that's
yes.
correct.
And we, voted to partner along with other neighborhood councils and other entities, obviously, to create. It was originally, the idea was to co-name Crenshaw Boulevard, keep Crenshaw, but add Malcolm X, and it has adjusted over time so that instead it is the Malcolm X corridor with signage, and obviously still Crenshaw Boulevard. And Candace spoke on our behalf last May when some of the signs were, not all the signs have yet been unveiled. So our section is still pending for the signage to be unveiled. During the course of our multiple meetings through COVID on Zoom with the community, and they were highly, well attended, there was discussion that you guys have, thank you so much, taken to real heart. There was discussion about how previously UNNC, working with CRA and other entities, had come up with the idea on the Crenshaw corridor of it also being a heritage corridor with some sort of signage or something wayfinding for the cultural heritage and landmarks, up and down the corridor, not just here. And that became a part of, I don't know, Andre, do you remember, part of one of the adopted plans? Anyway, so we said, and this also helped to implement that. And I see in your new proposal, that's exactly what you're doing. So I feel you heard us,
Yes.
and you do that, and I appreciate that. So, so I'll bring back, and now I'm going to bring the thing I was sharing before back up. Now,
And I want to add to that background when you have a moment, Laura. That was an excellent background on where we're at right now. So also, I just want to say this very quickly. My signal is not very strong here. I'm in Central Virginia in a very remote area, so there aren't many towers in this area. So if I go out, Tori will pick up where I left off. So should I begin here, Laura, or had you completed what you were sharing with us?
Well, I've completed. Oh, no, let me just say one other thing. So our intention, and we had our board voted on it, was to give a $2,500 grant in May. And to our surprise, the city clerk turned it down. And then it turned out that the reason they turned it down is that the event that Candace spoke at and that I attended, the event itself, because we had used the word event in our part of the application as today, the event had happened. So the grant was turned down, but the money is part of the rollover. So they're asking for the same amount of money They've rewritten the proposal so it's not tied to a day of any sort, so that cannot be turned down because something has come and gone.
And we thank you for your patience with our process. We're all learning too.
We are, and thank you.
And we shouldn't still be learning, but we are, exactly.
And-
So this is
and
why,
we have-
this is why I'm saying this one wouldn't.
Oh, no, I'm
fall
well
under-
aware of this
Yeah.
one, and this one's a very
Yeah.
clear,
Okay,
So, but who makes the motion?
well, wait, Andre gets to say
Oh,
something,
okay.
because interrupting.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you again, Laura, and everyone for your patience. And for those who are new to this whole concept, I see some familiar faces, but I see some new ones as well. I just wanted to say that in addition to what Laura has shared, this is the third phase of a very long process. We're asking for assistance for this phase only. For those who aren't aware of the overall project, there's a 5-mile corridor from the freeway to 79th Street, which is the boundary with the city of Inglewood. And that corridor has been officially designated as the Malcolm X corridor. That was done several years ago, I think 2023, yes. So we had our first as this, we're asking for your support for just a 2-mile segment of that 5-mile corridor that extends from the freeway to Coliseum to the south on the east side of that street on the corridor, as you know so well that you share Crenshaw with West Adams on the west side. Phase 1 concluded in 23, and we had 2 signs at the corner of Vernon and Crenshaw. We were delayed by COVID and some other issues and activities that the city was involved with, like the election of Heather Hutt and so on. Phase 2 concluded in 25, and we installed 4 additional signs. 2 were installed at Crenshaw and Martin Luther King, one facing north, one facing south, and 2 additional ones were located at Crenshaw and Florence out of your district. We did not have any signs installed in the UNCC area at that time, and that brings us to this current proposal. What we're proposing to do is install signs at the following intersections at Adams, Crenshaw and Adams, Crenshaw and Jefferson, and Crenshaw and Obama. Now, the signs there will not interfere with, for example, the Bishop Blake corner or any other square designations along that corridor. What we're doing here is very exciting. We're the new signs that we're installing, and thanks again to you all's recommendations, which we follow, will have unique QR codes embedded in each sign. And so walkers or passengers in cars or buses can just aim their phone at the QR code, and that will tell you a narrative about some of the features and highlights in your area. So that's not been done anywhere else in the city. So we're looking forward to having United Neighbors Neighborhood Council and the other neighborhood councils along that corridor sort of showcasing that new feature here in the city, and that's part of our cultural preservation and education component, which leads us into number 5, the public purpose and benefits that we're addressing here now. We want to highlight the QR codes will highlight cultural landmarks and historic institutions and notable sites. For example, the sign at Crenshaw and Adams, you might want to say something about Johnny Pastrami's or the Holman United Church or the Winfidel House, the Labyrinth, the Colbean Health Clinic, or the LA '84 Olympics Games location, or whatever you'd like to do. And I'm asking your assistance in drafting or crafting the detail of the narrative of some of the highlights. That these are examples I just threw out there, knowing the neighborhood as I do. But you may want to have other features that you wish to highlight on these signs. The next sign, for example, at Jefferson, you might want to highlight, for example, that's been designated as the New Orleans corridor. You may want to mention the Japanese American history, the Jewish settlement in that area, the significant jazz musician homes, and some of the landmark architecture in that area, like the bungalows and some of the classic or the Victorian homes or the classic church architecture structures from some of your major churches there. Another outcome of this outreach is number 3, visibility for global visitors. We're expecting to have 15 million visitors throughout the next within the next decade for the Super Bowl, the World Cup, the games. So the enhanced signage we feel will bring exposure to your communities along one of the busiest or most heavily traveled arterials in the area. And we want to definitely have those signs to point folks to where to go. If they're just driving by, they might want to stop by and shop or visit some of the institutions or do whatever tourists do. Number 3, community engagement and events. Family is, we have a very strong presence in our community. And Tori has been working for 33 years along with the community to bring about some key activities and events. One is being planned for the first time, the Malcolm X Summit in February, to raise awareness of his human rights philosophy and ideology and messages that are applicable today. The annual Malcolm X Human Rights Breakfast, we're in our 4th year of that breakfast. And the annual Malcolm X Festival, which is the highlight, the keystone of our activities, where you were invited last year, this year, and prior years. We highlight UNNC in all of our outreach activities. We have a booth there, a table, a prime locations. We treat you guys like VIPs when you're present and out there. And I think Candace knows that as well. And thank you, Candace, and you, Laura, for your involvement on a personal level and attending our unveiling installation ceremonies. And your logo will be prominently displayed. Tori and I speak on the radio about this event, and we are interviewed quite frequently, and we will mention your name as being one of our sponsors, of course. And also, another benefit is that we're partnering with organizations. This is Partnership in Economic Development. We're collaborating with the Office of State Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas. She's establishing a Black historical and cultural district in Los Angeles, and we want to make sure that the UNNCA area is recognized as being significant in this process. So I'm sure you all are working with that office as well. So you're familiar with this project. So I won't go into the details, but that's in process now. And both Tori and I and the family organization are working with some of the key players and partners in that effort. And we certainly want to make certain that the visibility of the signs, we feel, strengthens the case for including the businesses and institutions and attractions as destinations in some of the tour groups that will be traveling throughout the city, looking at significant historic and cultural locations. So that's the outcome of that. We have a budget, and this was prepared before I listened to your budget discussion and some of the restrictions that you have. However, we'll present it nonetheless. What we're proposing, and I don't see the budget here, maybe more.
Just share a different document. Hang on.
Okay,
Go ahead.
sure.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna find it.
And I have to find it myself as well. We're asking the same from the neighboring neighborhood councils. All 4 neighborhood councils. Park Mesa Heights is impacted by this, not impacted, but are partners with us. That's the better word. Are partners with us on installing signs south of Vernon. All of that is Park Mesa Heights. That's about another 2.5 miles the corridor they have from Vernon, Leimert Park to the to 79th Street. So they're erecting signs along that that portion of the corridor to the south. West area is also partnering with us. They've been very strong supporters of this project, and we're asking the same amount. They're duplicate applications from each neighborhood council. So we're asking for a total of 2,500 from each. So as you can see here, let's take it one by one. Item 6B, it says non-personnel. None of the funds are going towards personnel. We learned about that as well, about dollars being, it's been trial and error.
right.
Telling place. Yeah, you know, inch by inch through this process. And again, I appreciate you all's patience and instructions. So we wanted to allocate a certain amount of the grant to having flyers and banners and posters and signs and T-shirts. Last year, well, this year actually was the 100th birthday celebration. He was born in 1925, and that's 100 years ago, of course. So we had this in the budget from May for the event itself. But some of this is still all of this is still applicable for our upcoming event, and we're asking $1,000 for those items. We're also asking for assistance with entertainment, honorariums, and refreshments, and so on. The reason this figure is so low, for a major event, a request of $10,000 from 4 major organizations along the corridor is a very small amount, relatively speaking. But Torrey has a vast network of entertainers, and there are individuals that like to contribute to this event. So, you know, we depend a lot on volunteers, and we don't have big pockets and big dollars, and we know you all don't either for this type of thing. So we depend a lot with the community, and our track record enables us to reach out to the community to provide this, but we do need some level of assistance. We would like to have that for these activities. The third area we're requesting the funds for is in marketing and advertising. So again, I mentioned the print, the local newspapers, the Sentinel, the Wave, all of the local newspapers around that. Ad space costs money. Copies and flyer distribution. The issue is we've established this corridor officially, but very few people relate to it. So our intent this year is to make it more broadly known that this is what it is. It is also, in addition to Crenshaw Boulevard, it has also been established as the Malcolm X corridor. And I think the New Orleans corridor has the same type of thing going on there with them. We sort of know because we're locals. We know it's been officially designated that, but folks driving by and passing through, and even some residents don't know. So we want to have that outreach intensified, and we certainly want to have United Neighbors in all of, again, without being too redundant, on all of our public outreach materials and flyers and everything else that we do. So the bottom line here is that out of $10,000, which is our outreach effort along the corridor, we're asking $2,500 from each of the neighborhood councils. We understand that your budgets have been significantly reduced, and we're willing to work within the constraints or that you have. We're not unreasonable with this. We're just appreciative of what you decide to give us, to grant us rather. So this is basically the nuts and bolts of what we're requesting. And we want to say too that this is an historic event. I mean, we are preparing for the Olympics and all of the major activities that are coming around. We want to also, I want to also say this, excuse me, part of this budget that you see in 6B, we don't know yet. I spoke with Jonathan Mitchell in Heather Hutt's office and also with Kamani Black. We may, because of the city's budget situation, may need to spend some of that money to actually buy the signs and to have LADOT install the signs from this pool of money that we have. So we're sort of reserving that until we find out for sure whether or not the city, as they've done in the past, will actually produce the signs. I think each sign is around $200 or something like that. So we may have to take some of this money, and there will technically be 3 signs on the east side of Crenshaw at Adams. We may want to move it down to 30th Street or 29th because you don't want to have a sign on Adams saying the Crenshaw the Malcolm X corridor as you're about to get off on the freeway. That's the corridor is the other way. So there would be 3 on the east side of the street facing northbound traffic. So that would be, there would be one around Adams, one at Jefferson, and one at Obama. So there are 3 signs that you would definitely have on your boundary with the information on the highlights and attractions east of Crenshaw officially in the UNNC geographic area. And same thing for West area, on the west side of the street facing southbound traffic, they would have 3.
Andre, I'm gonna interrupt only because it's getting late.
Yes.
I have a question, but I do have a question for Ken. Do we need to delete the word honorarium?
Probably so.
Yeah, I don't think we
Okay.
can.
I don't think that we pay for.
Yeah, I
speaker.
right, I think we can't pay for, so just don't have it there.
Yes.
We have to not delete it, we have to make sure that it's not expended in the category.
Once you give an MPG, they're gonna use it.
Well, we have to have a operation of faith with our partners that it's not spending that.
Yes, I
it's not
understand.
consistent, yeah.
Right, I mean, the oddness of how they administer NPGs is once the money is out of the city.
Right. But we
Okay.
still.
But how can I also say, if family went through, granting the request that we asked them to change for last year, I feel like if we say, we can't spend money on that,
Yeah, just we're not gonna spend money on an honorarium. And it's interesting that you might have to spend money on the signage itself, which we would be allowed to do.
It would be.
So
Okay.
you might want to say flyers, banners, posters, tchotchkes, memorabilia, parentheses, possibly signs themselves,
Yes. Okay,
possibly
very
city
good.
signs, something like that.
Yes. Okay.
So, and then the other thing is where it says, have you applied to any other neighborhood councils requesting funds? You've checked off no, but then obviously right below that, you've listed the other neighborhood councils, so that's
Oh, yes.
probably a yes. And,
Yes.
and says if yes, please list the names.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
That
needs
is correct.
correction.
Very good. Yes.
I know it's hard
Oh,
to
yes.
see.
I don't know how that. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning when I did this.
No, that's all right.
Posters,
Okay.
shot,
Memorabilia, marketing.
I just feel like the honorarium and stuff.
Has to go.
Yeah, that,
It's
once you take that off, then.
Sure. You're glad to. Uh-huh.
Here, you want to just.
Refreshments. I don't know that it's better. Refreshments.
Yeah, it's probably better to just throw that extra 500 up to the flyers, banners, posters, signs, t-shirts, tchotchkes, memorability, parentheses.
Yeah, that's, I was gonna say
Signage.
that.
Yeah.
Just put 1,500 there and
Yeah.
have entertainment, honorariums and refreshments, because each of those things opens up a different question. Mark, at the
Got
city.
you. Got you. That makes sense.
Well, we can fund refreshments, but then they're gonna say, do they have a business license?
Yeah.
Do they have a-
Yeah.
And we're requesting donations from the community anyway for refreshments. So yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
I have a question, since this also co-aligns with a major metro corridor, have you done outreach to Metro? Do you have a large buy-in for Metro to support and recognize? Because there's a
Well, especially at Obama.
But the trains used to come north and come under the freeway. I
Yeah.
mean, Metro's got a large footprint for the future along that corridor. Have you got involvement with Metro? Because it seems like a no-brainer.
Excellent question. Yes, we have. By the way, I was employed 10 years with Metro as a community relations manager and a project manager. So I know all the folks there, those two departments. But to answer your question, yes. I think Laura remembers me at Metro too, and at the city as well.
I remember you for years.
True. So you know I deliver and I come through.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a good question. We were working with his name escapes me right now, but he's been moved to another department. But I know Yvette Posse, I know all the folks there. I know Maya, I'm still the art director. I've worked with all of them. I'm one of the I was with Crenshaw Leadership Council. And that was a Metro-based organization where all of the leaders along Crenshaw, Laura knows about that. I think you said in any sessions, maybe was even officially part of it. So yes, my roots go very deep with Metro. And to answer your question, yes, with the new community relations managers, the new one that's assigned, as well as Obama and that whole corridor, even Crenshaw Slauson, the Nipsey Hussle intersection there. Yes, I'm familiar with Metro, very, very much so. And we have their blessings with
Is
this.
there a certain funding level that you can share with us?
Well, what they've done up to this point is not given us any money at all. What they've done is they've shown up on some of our past events. They've given out literature. They've given, we attempted to get what we call the vintage bus, the 1950s some bus. We've seen that. Some of you have seen that. We call it the Rosa Parks bus, which looks very similar to the buses that the old MTA had in those days. It's been restored. They've given us a lot of information because our actual festival has been held at Leimert Park, right adjacent to their station. So they've come out on several occasions to do that, but they have not actually given us any money in the past occasions. We're requesting in-kind services. For example, we're requesting this year to have onboard placards on their buses and trains announcing the fact that is what the corridor is designated as, with various logos. We would like to have UNNC's logo on the buses. We have some prototypes I can share with you. Our creative consultant, Ashley Perkins, has designed for us to be placed on board. That was one of my requests, being a former community relations manager for Metro. And they were very open to that, and as well as some of the board members. Jackie DuPont Walker, we've known each other for years. Some of the other board members and directors. So we want to expand the presence. I would love to have UNNC's logo on board the 210 bus, the number 40 bus that travels. It's one of the two more heavily traveled bus lines along that corridor. And the Malcolm X corridor, sponsored by, this has been designated by West Adams and all the other neighborhood councils, and Heather Hutt's and Marquise's logo there, Song with Family, to just bring attention. When people are riding the bus, they get bored and want to see things to read. I know I'm a bus rider myself, so it catches my attention. So yes, on different levels. Also, I just want to throw this out there. I know it's not in your district, but at Martin Luther King at the station, as well as Crenshaw, where the crossing there with those two significant historic names, MLK and Malcolm X, we think that's a very significant corner. So we want to have some artwork installed there. We're talking with the senator's office about that, as well as a presence at Sankofa Park. So there may be something that you might want to consider in terms of landmarks and landmarks along that portion of the corridor you have there as well. Again, that's from Coliseum South to the freeway. So those are things we can discuss later at some other time. But
Okay.
yes, to answer your question, I have some very strong contacts with Metro and Metro relations.
So, Michael, I kind of feel like we should be acting because it's 8:30.
Yes, great. So
Need a motion?
I'm happy to make the motion to support the. Well, one, I guess, is our discussion. I think. We previously
We had
offered granted.
something, and it is carried, you know, in other words, we did a lot of effort to make sure this money, of course, luckily we got every money, but was carried over so we could reapprove it.
So I think that we're aligned on that, just being explicit. So I move that we move this forward to the board next
Recommend
month
to the governing board that
at the full
Yeah,
amount
that-
of 2,500.
I would second that.
Like,
With the understanding that the language.
Yes, they're gonna adjust
The language so that.
not just the language, they're gonna move the whole 500 out of there,
Yep,
move it to
so that
another
we
line.
can fully fund.
Yeah, and just move it to a different line. So I would second the motion to
Recommend to the board to.
recommend to the board the $2,500 PG.
So vote by hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
wonderful, thank you all. And we look forward to working with you with designing the narratives for these QR codes. I'm very excited about that, and we all have an opportunity to create something very eye-catching and spectacular for the area.
So
Thank you again.
we'll follow up on that. And when you're working with Lola's office, but you're also working with LA Commons, because they're working together on the cultural Black heritage. Oh, I forget the name of the district, but do you happen to know, but this is a yes or no answer, not a long answer. Do you know if the state board that's establishing the cultural districts, did they vote yet and did they approve this one, if you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
But we both,
don't
Tori and
know.
I both know Karen Mack very well. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Tori.
as do I. So, okay,
Tori,
Thank
want
you.
to say-
thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
you.
Go.
Okay, so that closes out everything in 4, so
Yeah.
on to 5, the upcoming events.
Right, so we're gonna need a sign up thing. I sent an email to Yona Hong to find out, unless Hunter already knows, what day and time slot UNNC will have at the LA Korean Festival. Cause we need to send out a more bigger, a large sign up sheet for our board members, because there's 3 events. Same day or minimum same week. 2 on the same day. We have on October 18th for sure, from 10 to 2, plus we have to set it up. The tree planting event at 6th Avenue School. So for sure we have a booth there.
And so I'll do the sign up sheet. Are we gonna do 2?
Well, I don't know how we do it, but I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna say we have at the same time, but longer, possibly. Taste of Soul, the council office is providing us space at Taste of Soul. On the same day, and I think that's 11 to 7. And I don't know that we have to be there from 11 to 7, but we surely have to be at Taste of Soul from 11 to 2 or 3.
Yeah. So.
Right. Right, and at that point, maybe we don't have to be there after that. And then the LA Korean Festival up at Olympic, and is it Normandy? You were there, Hunter. Is it Olympic and Normandy-ish?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Normandy and Pico. It might go up to Olympic though. Yeah,
Definitely Olympic.
yeah.
I just saw, there's a park, the Seoul International Park.
Hmm.
And so this might be the same day. So
I believe
I
it is.
don't know how we do this, but somehow we need to communicate to board members that we all are on board, and each and every one of us just has to pick one.
Well, I'm planning on doing.
You have 2 people for the tree event.
You got
For the tree
trees.
event, from the
Yeah,
first
no,
time.
I understand. And
Sure.
Teresa, I mean, we're gonna have to reach outside the
Yeah,
board
I just
to
wanted
actually
to-
staff.
I told Teresa I would be at the tree event as well, but do we think that's too many people at the tree event?
I don't know if it's too many. I know that Elizabeth and somebody else had already said they'll do LA Korea Fest. Who was it? And I don't know who wants to do Taste of Soul. I'm gonna say something like, I don't think anyone's gonna have a better excuse than I would for not going, but I'm gonna go. My niece. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, Taste of Soul, there were a lot of board members that
No,
did
no, no,
last
that's
year.
not
I
my
think a lot of
point.
people
I'm not
will
gonna
want
say what I was
do it.
about to say. I'll say it when the meeting's over and we're not recording anymore.
I think
But
a lot of people are gonna want to do Taste of Soul. I don't think that we'll have a hard time getting people to. Last year, we had people for every shift, no problem, because it was a popular event.
okay,
Wanted to
so
go.
yeah, because I wasn't able to go last year, so we did have, yeah, it's just that we have 3 at the same time.
I was there, and there were 2 other people there the whole time I was there, and one of them
Okay,
wasn't,
well,
you
and
know?
I was gonna ask, like, does Rosie want to go? I mean, others, we have other former board members who we could probably need to reach out to.
Yeah, the
So-
more the merrier.
So Michael, the question would be, do we send out 3 sign-up sheets? Do we send out
I
one?
would just do one.
I think-
Just say you need to pick a slot,
Yeah.
any slot, but you need to pick one. And let Laura and Michael know your very good reason if you're not picking one.
I don't
So
think
Something
we
to
can-
that effect.
for the slots, so do we have the tree planting from 10 to 2, do we want to do?
I don't
Two-
think we need to include that,
Oh.
to be honest with you,
I'm
because
sorry, what, Hunter?
I don't think you need to include the tree one on there because it seems like there are 3 of us that are gonna be there and it's not a long event.
Yeah, but
you're-
your names need to show up there so people know that you volunteered. Cause we're saying that every board member needs to pick
And
one.
how long is that event? 4
And
hours.
to do-
Only there. the
You're
first
only
two
there
hours.
for 2
2
hours.
hours, the first
So
2
they-
hours.
I'll be there
Right,
the
so
whole
it's-
time. I'm gonna stay the whole time, so it'll be me.
Right, but what I'm saying is Michael can put your names
Yep,
in.
yep.
So
we
that
can
people
look up
see
and
the
look for
names.
Some other slot,
Yeah.
yep.
Right,
That works.
so that would be the way to do it,
Alright, and Taste of Soul is from 11 to 3.
11 to 7, but maybe 11 to
The
3.
booths really only are, the booths is that more from like 10 to 3.
10 to 3.
Four,
And
then
was that
after-
your experience, Hunter, 10 to 3 or 10 to 4 at Taste of Soul?
It definitely went later, but I did end up leaving around 4 or 5 or something like that.
So I'll go from 10 to 4 again with then 3 2-hour shifts.
Right. And then, okay, so these were not all the same time the last time, so you went to the Korea Festival also
No,
last time.
oh yeah, because they weren't the same day. Mhm.
They weren't the same, right, now it's
right, now we get
how long, what amount
I
of
was the
time
only
do
one
we
that
have?
went there for that. They gave us a tent and everything, and it was kind of like shared with another neighborhood council or
Right,
something.
but what was the
I-
amount of time slot that they gave us?
I had 3 hours. I didn't even stay for the whole 3 hours, honestly. I walked around with the flyers that I had and gave them out to people that way. It felt easier.
Just put a 1 through.
But still to be determined the date.
Well, day and time,
I
so,
think we have the date.
no, we don't, it's a 4-day event, she hasn't given us the day and time yet.
So we only get a slot on one day, a certain.
Correct, we don't have to cover for 4
Okay,
days.
good to know. Good
Yeah,
to
we
know.
just have a slot and Elizabeth is committed to it.
I know that.
And Toya was one other person who said, I'll do that one.
So I'll go ahead and send this
Draft it
out
anyway.
and send it to you people and you all can sign up for the parts, and then
Then we send it
distribute the whole.
widely, yeah. Cause, yeah, okay. But again, somehow, the problem is, all of us who are talking, we're the people who go to these things. And I'm trying to figure out what we say to the people who don't usually go to these things.
Pick a slot,
Pick a slot, it's not a yes or no, it's a this or that,
yeah, pick a slot.
pick a
I
slot.
think people will sign up for Taste of Soul, no problem. I think we'll have to convince people to go to the Korean Fest because I was the only one I think who went last year. Nobody really showed interest.
Well, interesting, I mean, again, there was two people, maybe it was so Chris.
Depending on the day, I would go to the Korean Fest, I just have to know when our time slot is,
Right.
but.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll.
But if it's the same time as the tree thing, we're
Yeah,
going to
can't
the
do
tree
it,
thing.
and we picked the tree.
For a reason, I understand.
Cause Western Heights.
You're gonna meet all the right people to maybe get your trees funded for you, we understand.
No, we have another event.
Shape which is the tree.
Oh. That too, yeah, but if you go to the tree thing, you're gonna meet all the tree people from around town.
Well, that's just a coincidence.
That's
But if
the
it
coincidence.
looks-
We'll see how it plays, but we're there to fill that slot because we have to be somewhere else in the afternoon.
Got it. Okay. The next item. Guys. Michael's running the meeting, but I guess I'll just go ahead. That's all right. I'm just gonna move.
Yeah.
That's item 6. It's just sort of the same conversation. We need every board member to start doing things, but I'm talking to the people who are already the board members doing things. So
And to a non-board member.
and
Or to
And
non,
Sandra.
non-executive member.
well, no, but a board member, and Sandra is here, but she's almost like a board member. And maybe one day she will be another board member again, but the point is, we have board members who aren't doing anything. So one thing I wanna start saying, I'm testing it on you guys. When the meeting is adjourned, nobody gets to leave. They have to stay for 10 minutes because we need everybody to take it apart so we can all go home. Because it's been just a few of us, as governing board, and then we end up spending an extra 30 minutes. And that's becoming a problem for our facility. I mean, I
suggest that I completely support that concept.
Well, it's also because I've been told we're
I know, I
taking too long.
support the concept. I just think as a organization, we need to make sure we keep our time frame tight so that we have our meetings completed in a reasonable amount of time, so people can stay that 10 minutes. I mean, we
Right.
really have to tighten our ship and keep that
Okay.
clock.
And on that note, we have not achieved quorum until quarter after 20
I get
after
that.
meeting after meeting after meeting. So weirdly enough, I'm keeping the time up. It's just that we're not starting on time. That said, for October, we have no choices. We have to be out of there by 9.
Yep.
And so we're gonna need to start the meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
So I hope that's gonna be, I mean, because they have an issue at the facility
Factable.
on October 2nd. And also October 2nd turns out to be Yom Kippur. Do we have anybody that affects? I mean, I'm gonna have to put out an email. I don't think we do, but we have new board members, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
You
but-
seem to be Irish.
Both.
We do know,
Are you too?
Both. Yeah.
Oh,
since we have a conflict, so can we do no food so that way there's less to clean up just for this one time?
we could do no
Oh,
food or
nice.
sticky snack, easy food.
Because like it always just takes so
That's-
long to like clean up everything.
No,
you
it's
know?
also the tables, it's also, and by the way, it turns out nobody packed away the one of the cords. So they found the cord and she's wondering if it's hers, if it's ours, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it's ours, please don't take it away. But we don't have a system at all. I hear what you're saying, but it's not just food.
I know it's not just
It's the sign-in sheets, it's the this, it's the that, it's the putting the tables back. It's the food is part of it, but it's not all of it. Sandra,
Can I make a suggestion, Laura? Since it's a new group and you're starting fresh, I think that in the meeting you should talk about this right off the top, off the rip. Say, listen, you volunteer for an organization and we do more than just come to meetings, something like this. We need to do some outreach to, get the word out to more of our community. We have a lot to offer, and that way let them know up front, because a lot of times I've experienced being on the board and off the board, people that join have no idea what they're really signed up for. They just think they come in and go home. They don't want to do anything extra because nobody has ever told them to do anything extra. They want to be helpful in the neighborhood, but they don't know how to be. So I think that off the rip, the first meeting you guys have, the next meeting you have, take some time and say, we have to stay, everybody has to clean up. We have to do this outreach stuff, and it's all beneficial, and it's all part of being on the neighborhood council. However diplomatic you say it.
right, right. Okay. So obviously we need to reactivate some of our committees. We're not gonna do that tonight. I don't know if we're ever gonna
Put
do
in the
it.
group that he was interested in Parks and Rec. I think that he should chair.
Caesar?
Yeah,
Caesar?
before he left, he and then
Okay, yeah, well, I think he almost needs to, because unfortunately, we got an email from somebody from Recreation and Parks regarding his work to try and get a park, and she said, I'd love to attend UNNC's Recreation and Parks Committee meeting. So that means we have to have one.
Yeah.
So
Can I
it's a
do
good
that?
thing.
Can
Yes,
I
sir.
be an ad hoc member on that? Because you know I love Parks and Rec and I have a lot of
No,
history with them.
I mean, we don't have a committee at all. We don't have a committee chair, so yes. Did you meet Caesar? You've probably met
Yeah.
Caesar, but yeah, so. Yeah, so, you know, this is gonna happen. I'm sure it's gonna happen, but we have to make it official and then call a meeting. Okay, approve agenda items for the August 2025 governing board meeting, which is the incorrect title because it's obviously October. So sorry about that typo that all of us missed on the agenda, but we might have, I'll try not to have them, but might have land use items. We certainly are gonna have this funding request, certainly gonna have the budget. We cannot spend the same amount of time on the funding request. This has to be a big funding request as a discussion we have. And I will explain that to Andre, although we've explained it to you before. It's always long. We can't do that. Since he brought
We
it,
put time limits on these, 5 minutes?
Yes, I would say,
Well,
we'll probably need a timekeeper.
Time limits?
we need a timekeeper for October, so
I'm
again,
happy to
the
do that.
issue.
That sounds like secretary duty. I'm happy to be like,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
literally
yeah.
put the time
Please.
on and when the diggle.
Yeah, do you have something?
Hourglass.
Like a bing.
We need a timer.
So he did mention, and I realized we don't have the information. He said, oh, you guys must be working with, Lola. Play the Smallwood, and we haven't been, I haven't been. But I've been doing it through Waha, not through UNNC and through LA Commons, and it's a project. She is trying to establish with LA Commons, they're trying to establish a cultural district from La Brea all the way east to Central, Adams, south to, I think, Vernon or Slauson. It's huge.
Yep.
And it's a Black Heritage Cultural District. And this is a state-funded thing. And I'm almost thinking this would be the meeting, starts at 6:30, but making sure people, we can call it to order whether or not we have quorum at 6:30. Maybe this is the meeting I should ask LA Commons to come and do a 10 or 15-minute presentation, because it would be the good introduction to the later topic of this grant.
I'd love to know more about what they're doing.
Yeah,
If we
yeah.
have time.
Well, we don't have time, but we do, if we're just sitting around, we can't start the meeting because we don't have quorum anyway.
Yep.
So might as well have something.
It's value added in that.
Yeah,
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 that's good.
and we're allowed to do presentations without quorum
that's true.
under the law.
And maybe that'll get people in the door because they
Oh,
want to.
true, that'd be interesting. And anybody else have any agenda items that that are pending that they know of?
I think
There
that
is-
we should put at least on the agenda if anyone wants to start doing some of these committees. I think Caesar would sign
Yeah,
up.
no, committee appointments will be on the agenda. We have a CIS coming from environmental committee related to the new iteration of the motion to have air conditioning or keep a temperature in apartments. Only the new iteration is to keep all rooms in a rental place cooled, which seems kind of impossible, actually. So anyway, I don't remember what they voted, but this time it was kind of pretty direct. Committee has a position.
My understanding is they split it between 10 units and more, and 10 units and less, and 10 units
The
and
land,
less.
it's not even units, but it's also if you have single family house, it's the rental space.
Right,
They're saying cool all the rooms.
right, but they broke, my understanding is they broke it, if you're 10 units or less, it's only a solo room. It's a-
No, with the last version I read,
Okay.
it's just the implementation date is different.
Okay, then I have to read another
Yeah.
version, so the last one I read still
So
had the
it may
language,
have been amended. Yeah, no, they just did a new motion.
okay.
It's a brand new motion. So, but we gotta go.
I would like to.
But anyway, there is there is a CIS, the language was already bullet pointed at the committee. I don't remember if planning and zoning also has CIS, but I also wanna, do we wanna talk initially about a charter commission ad hoc committee. Do we want that on the agenda?
I'd say yeah.
I think we
And
need to be
a
sensitive.
proposal for a grants committee as well.
A proposal for.
I like that.
Okay,
All right,
Mr. Gams, so we have-
I know, we gotta go.
Thanks, cookies.
Everybody, meeting
Bye,
is.
well.